Today I want to talk about why running is one of the most important things you can do. And sure, from a physical fitness standpoint, the benefits are apparent, right? But I'm going to talk about beyond that. I'm going to talk about how the ideas and the lessons we learn while running make us better once we take those running shoes off and go about our lives, right? I'm a better entrepreneur, business person. I'm a better creative. I have better relationships. So much of my life is better because of the things that I learned while running. And I want to break that down and show how it can be the exact same for you. Number one is solitude. That beautiful but almost outdated idea of being alone with your thoughts. I had a realization recently. I was getting in the shower and, even for 5 minutes, right? I get this speaker and I put it on the counter and have a podcast or audiobook going. And it's like, you don't always need to be consuming. When are you going to give yourself time to think, right? And that's what running does, particularly those slow, healthy, long runs where it's just you and your thoughts. There's no distraction. You give yourself time to step outside your world and look into it. And that to me is invaluable. I can't tell you how many critical decisions I've made during runs because you have clarity. It's like I'm doing A, B, and C. Is C really important? No. Why do I do it then? Let's move it, let's mitigate it, right? And so it's that type of thinking and the ability to have those internal dialogues without, notifications and things pinging and ringing, and it's just clarity. We need that time. So if anything, running can give you that solitude and that peace. Next, we have the goal and execution dynamic. And this one's really simple, but the beauty is in the simplicity, right? When I'm about to run, I set a goal, meaning what type of run I want to have, what I want to get out of the exercise, and then I execute, period. I set the goal and I do what's required to carry out the goal, right? Someday it might be, a really long, light run. You just want to get the heart rate up a little bit, get some sun, be alone with your thoughts. Boom, you do it. The next day, it might be 4 miles. It might be something even shorter than that, but high intensity. You want to push yourself, push your limits, and it hurts and it's uncomfortable and you want to stop halfway through, but you don't because you set the goal. So now you need to hit the goal, right? So you can see this obvious simplicity there, but that carries over so nicely into other areas of life, particularly as I built these brands and I'm involved in other entrepreneurial projects. There's so many times where it's like things aren't going the way I want them to. The ego gets punched a little bit. Something doesn't work the way you want it to. It's like, oh, I'll quit, I'll stop, I'll do something different. No, you set the goal, see it through. Maybe when you see it through, you look back and you go, okay, I'm gonna change some things, or okay, this isn't for me, but you see that goal through. And I promise you, when you start to identify as someone who sets goals and hits them, when you put your head on the pillow at night, it's everything. It becomes your identity, becomes who you are. And running plays a big part in that. You set goals and you execute. Number 3 is a willingness to embrace discomfort. Clearly some tie-in here to the previous lesson, but I think it's so critical that it warrants its own space, right? So I did my TEDx talk on this. I've written speeches on my other channel about this. To me, that willingness to embrace discomfort in the now is the difference between greatness and mediocrity. When things get difficult, and I'm not even talking crazy difficult, I'm talking annoying. I'm talking things that pop up where it's easier not to. There are other options you could take, off-ramps to make it go away, but you continue forward. That puts you in a very small, select category, saying yes to the duress and the discomfort when most people would say no. If you can start identifying as someone who does that, it changes everything, right? So running to me, especially those long runs, they hurt. There's always a point where something comes up that's uncomfortable. And, I have conditioned my brain to say, well, here it is. It's not an indicator that we're stopping. This is the cost of admission. This is what running is, and this is what life is. And some people would stop right here. Are you going to? No. Seems small, seems trivial, but it's everything. Right? Becoming someone who does the difficult thing. Again, you always thank yourself when you're through. There's never been a time after a tough run where I went home and was disappointed that I fought through. You know, I always feel amazing. I feel like someone who could have taken the way out but didn't. It bleeds into who I am, how I see myself, and how I operate in other areas of life, right? Be willing to do the difficult thing. Number 4 is the ability to adapt. Why? Because life is not perfect. And if you're waiting for perfection, if you're waiting for a problem-free situation where there's no flaws, the stars are aligned, you'll simply wait forever. Right? Every runner knows you're rarely at 100%. Something hurts, you're tired, something's aching, but you find ways to push through. You know, I'm certainly not, 85. I'm not an old man, but I'm 35, old enough that every time I run, something's letting me know it's there. You know, whether it's my right knee, left ankle, left side of my back. And it's about, finding a way to get to the finish line despite those things, right? I'm not talking like a gruesome injury. I'm just talking about like the nagging things that we deal with over the years. But being preventative as well. It's yoga, it's stretching, it's, cold plunges, it's saunas. You want to do your best to put yourself in position to win and then evolve with life. And if you take that, you can drop it into any arena and there's a one-to-one fit. Business is problem solving. Business is things not going perfectly or the way you want them to. You don't stop, you adjust. You find a way to get to the next goal. And the best businesses are forward thinking and anticipate some of these changes and some of these things that are happening, right? It's not about standing still and hoping things go right. It's being willing to learn and evolve. If you can adapt, you can win. And number 5 is the beautiful spirit of competition. To me, nothing lights the competitive fire like running. And not in the sense that you're running against other people. It has nothing to do with the person to your left or your right. You are the only one that can speed yourself up or slow down. You are the one in charge of your focus. You are in your lane, always. And there's something incredible to me about the idea that it doesn't matter if you ran a personal best, and you have every right to celebrate and cheer. There's still somewhere along that race or that run that you could have been half a second faster. And that unlimited human potential to me is exciting. It reminds me that when you stay focused, you stay in your lane, and you're looking at being slightly better than you were yesterday, infinite doors open for you. Right? Outside of running, it's the same idea. There's so many distractions. There's so much temptation to point to other people as problems and obstacles. And it's like, none of that matters. It's all noise, it's all minutia. This is you. Life is you in your lane. And what are you gonna do? Are you gonna focus and keep showing up and try and be a little bit better than you were yesterday? Or are you gonna place your fate in the hands of the guy to your left and the girl to your right? To me, that's a beautiful thing, right? Life is you versus you. And if you show up, right, with the expectation that, hey, look, I don't need to perform any miracles. I need to be slightly better today than I was yesterday. You become unbeatable, right? So that competitive spirit from running, it's one of the best gifts we can receive. So those are my 5 reasons running can change your life. So I hope you got something from it. I hope you lace up those shoes and hit the pavement. And I hope life overall continues to get better and better and better because of it. Thanks for watching. See you next week.